Um, yeah, in the wintertime, I don't even run my dehumidifier because one of the things about it is my furnace, when the heater is going, it naturally takes the moisture out of the air. So the water is cycled through the furnace. So I don't have that issue.
Do you have
But
air conditioning, central air?
no, not yet. I have
Okay.
furnaces that I can get central air on,
Oh,
but
good. Okay.
I have not, because I'm still in the process of where I'm moving into the other unit. So
So the reason
I,
I asked is because our air conditioner was not working last summer.
mhm,
And so where we typically would run the dehumidifier, the air conditioning unit or the furnace has a dehumidifier on it as well. So when the air conditioner is running, it pulls the humidity out. Well, we didn't have that this summer.
mhm,
And so I think that, and I worked down there, so we didn't run the dehumidifier as long and as consistent
mhm.
as before. And so I think that this is the consequence, or this is what's happened when we don't have enough dehumidifying down there, because this has never happened before, and there's no new furniture or any other than I painted and put new carpeting in, but that's the only thing that was different from all these years of being down there. This has never happened, and the only thing that we can surmise is that the air conditioning unit wasn't run this year to pull out the humidity. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I will say to you that, I have been sneezing off the chain, like waking up, like just sneezing constantly, constantly. So I went to Home Depot and I bought the highest filtration filters to go on the furnace for the upstairs. The downstairs could just have regular,
Right.
3 for
For a
3 for
dollar.
whatever. No, they're not 3 for $1.
I know.
But they're like more like 3 for, I don't know if they're 3 for $18 or whatever. They could just, that could, because but I bought the highest filtration stuff up here, and I have noticed maybe I sneeze once in the morning,
Hmm.
whereas I was sneezing like crazy. And so when I changed the filters out, it did seem to work much better for me.
And
So
every now and again, some duct work. When I know when I ran my daycare in my home at Maple Heights, I used to have the ductwork cleaners come and clean out the ducts. So
mhm.
if you haven't had that done in a while too, that might be
Yeah, I
a
know that.
thing to
Yeah,
do.
I know that I need to have that done. But like I said, I'm doing work on the house. And so I figure when I get all when I stop
Yeah,
all,
you might as well.
yeah, because I'm doing nothing but kicking up dust.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Are you working? You started downstairs?
um, a
That
little
was-
bit, little bit. It's just little by little. I go down there, and some days I just get like, oh, and the other day I started like thinking, right there, that needs to, because there was a spot where my wall wasn't smooth. So I got the scraper and I started scraping. And then I was like, oh, I'm just whoever patched this up didn't do a good job. And so then I started tearing that apart. And it's like, now I'm sitting there like, oh, that's a hole. So it's, but I was at my brother's house yesterday, and I shouldn't say house, he has a building that they live in. I hate to tell their business, but
Do you?
I do. But he bought this apartment building, and I don't know if it's 8 suites or 6 suites in it, but he
Okay.
had bought an apartment building. It's a small apartment building, 6 or 8 suites. Well, the way that their renovations have worked is that they stay, I'll say that they live in like 3 of the suites themselves. And then I think they rent out one. But when you go in there, he has done so much work. Like they knocked down walls to like have one of those open floor
Open way.
plans.
Oh, nice.
They knocked the plaster off of one of the walls, so that whole wall is just brick. It's like the exposed brick, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, our condo in Kansas was like that.
Yeah,
Ugh, I
it's
love
just,
that. Yeah.
to see the work that he's doing in there is just like
And it
amazing.
inspires you. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I want to come home and start doing some stuff,
like
right?
yeah, like his wife has this closet that used to be a bedroom, and it's got like they built in the stalls for the clothes, and then they've got sweater racks and shoe racks, and then the dresser fits in between some of the other racks. I mean, it's sharp. I'm just like, wow, everybody should have a closet like that.
Right.
Morning, Ruth.
Morning. Good morning, Ruth.
Happy New Year. I don't know if I
Happy New
if
Year. Yeah, I didn't see her yesterday.
that's what I was wondering. So
Hmm.
yeah, it is. It's really like, and then Kathy gonna ask me, she was like, you want Kevin to come and help you with the kitchen? I was like, girl, he don't have time to do your kitchen. She was like, he don't have time not to do my kitchen. I guess like they say, happy wife, happy life, right? So
Yeah,
that's how they operate. So
that's
anyway.
cool.
Greg, good morning. He said, good morning, Queens.
Good morning.
Hey, all the way for, are you still out of town? Yay. Good morning. Good morning. So that's a surprise to see you pop up in here. So anyway, hey Sarika, good
Good
morning.
morning, Sarika.
Terrific Tuesday. Yes.
Horrific Tuesday it is.
Yes. Ruth said she had to start work at 8, so she missed us yesterday. Happy New
Well,
Year's.
we missed you too.
Yes, yes, yes. But you know what? You know how we are. We sit here and jaw jack. That's what I call it. Jaw jack. We sit here and jaw jack for a while anyway. Yesterday, last night, like I said, I went over to my brother's house, but yesterday was the swearing in ceremony downtown at City Hall. And it was so funny because I got so many people texting me saying, hey, you're on, I see you, like, because I guess TV 20 and the council meeting was broadcast. I guess they're always broadcast, but I was sitting there in the audience on my phone, and I was, you know how it is. I could listen without looking. Some of the people had their backs towards us, so I sat there, and some of them really good. Some of them was like, you want to say, check the temperature in the room, dude. What are you
Mm-hmm.
doing?
Mm-hmm. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, so that was good. It was really good and really inspiring, Justin Bibb has been sworn in, and so we've got a new mayor coming in, Blaine Griffin, who you know how it is. You've known people for so long, and it's just so interesting and amazing to see them, to know them over a period of time, from before politics to now politics and beyond. And so he was sworn in as president of council, and I'm excited because we've got some really good people that are in there, that are coming in, and people who have a vested interest in trying to guide the ship.
Yeah.
Now,
It's a
I,
new season.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's going to be really interesting, though. I think it's going to be really interesting because it already seems as though that there are factions that have developed, and the one
Well,
guy,
they were doing that in the campaign. Like,
Yeah, the one guy was, it was, I wanted to say, you know, um, yeah, it's gonna be a trip. It's gonna be a trip because people are really trying to, people are really trying to suppress the vote and really, how do I want to say it? The way that they, one of the things that Stephanie House says is that we have to stop, which is something that we're talking about here. We have to stop just looking at people once a crime is committed and really look at what it is that sets them up, that has triggered some of the stuff that they see going on. It's not that people just appear and, even the girl who shot the police officer, it's got to be a backstory to that.
there's always a backstory,
Mhm.
but we're not allowed to have one, because then we have to go all the way back. And who wants to do that? Like, no, we
Yeah,
can't afford to do that, because then there's a level of accountability. So
yeah,
we're going to just deal with the facts and punish you on the facts,
right.
not the truth, or what led up to this, or how to, for everybody,
Mhm.
for
And
everyone.
right, and and it was interesting because when she went to her arraignment, the original arraignment, the guy was like saying, yeah, she's here today, but she doesn't actually have like this long record that everybody is talking about, and so just kind of trying to take it into context and see what else, is going on is really interesting. So we'll see what happens. I mean, but this goes so much deeper, and that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about this new podcast that I'm doing too, so I could take a deeper dive look into some of those kinds of issues. So yeah. So Blaine is Lynette's councilman. Okay. Yeah, my brother is my councilman, and he gives me the 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 line, the political line, just like all the rest of the council people do. But I tell people I still oppress him anyway. Oppress him anyway. So yeah, we got a lot of work to do here in the city of Cleveland. We got a lot of work to do. So yesterday we started this new book.
I'm excited.
We started a new book. It's called "It Didn't Start with You." We, of course, are made it off of the first page, but not far. This is by Mark Wolynn, and for those of you who may be interested in also reading the book, you can get it from the library. You can get it from Amazon.
Half price books
Yeah,
have
yeah.
one.
They have one. Yeah. And I have another copy too. So yeah, so there's if you're interested in reading it. And I am a big advocate for the Libby app, which is on your phone. You can, if you haven't gone to the downloads, if you go to your app store and type in Libby, Libby, it is the library app.
Oh,
And you can actually, if you don't have a library card, you can apply for a library card online just for their digital selections. And you can get the digital, you can either have it played to you while you're walking around doing work or whatever. um Women Who Run with the Wolves. Good morning, Erica. We still have our,
what did she ask about that?
she asked what happened to the Wolves book.
Did you
um
get it, Erica?
so I know that Ruth had said she picked it up at
Yeah.
the library. And so it's a huge book. And so we opted to go with this one, but I want to incorporate
Yeah.
Women Who Run with Wolves into this, because that book is so juicy. But can you imagine? She said no, she didn't get it. Can you
Okay.
imagine if it took us 240
40.
days to get through a 200-page book, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, but
We would be doing a woman with runs with wolves for at least 5 years.
oh my gosh,
That,
it's so
oh
good.
my goodness.
It's
Yes.
good. And I will tell you that it is one of those books that is really, it inspires me, because it is always like this thing of, I mean, it's kind of like the pussy book. It just really like makes you come into your
Very empowering.
right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
It answers question. Well, if you had questions, it answers questions about where it feels like, where did, like, if you, I'll speak for myself. So if I feel like a warrior on the inside, but society says different, or even my home says different, or religion says different for me, when I read that book 2019, the first little chapter, uh, it made it affirmed my stance on this planet, my yesness of being here. It's super empowering, and there's not a mistake, and it's not in our imaginations, that feeling of being hunted, hunted, um to make, like, create an extinction, but we can't be extinct, because I felt super empowered reading that book. Like, you cannot get rid of me. That's not an option.
yes, it's not. It's not.
It's not an option. It just, yeah.
But what they can, and what people have managed to do, is suppress that naturalness that is us, and
Mm-hmm.
made us to believe that there is something inherently wrong, dirty, weak,
Mm-hmm.
about our us and our femininity. And so it is stepping, and hopefully one of the things that I try to
What's that?
Erica, I want to flip you the finger.
What did she say? Oh my God.
It's because Sand gets sidetracked. Whatever.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's a part of the journey.
I mean, so I one of the ways that I operate, Erica, is that I fashion myself, I fancy myself an intuitive. And so if something pops into my mind, I figure it pops into my mind on purpose. It's not for me and me alone. And so I share those things that come up for me in the midst of either while I'm reading or while I'm talking. The sidetrack is the track. and so and so for me, it's all a part of the unfolding of this information. And I hope what it does too is it allows each of us to own the other, the voices that we hear, to own the parts of spirit that continue to talk
Yes.
to us, and kind of,
Yes.
open that into the conversation so that it has purpose, and sometimes I don't understand all the time why I'm saying the things that I'm saying, but I know that it is necessary for me to come with that type of energy, and giving myself permission to go there. So I so when I push back, I'm pushing back because this is something that society has taught us is wrong. And she says, not a complaint, just a fact. Greg agrees with me. but but this is part of what society has taught us to do in order to quiet us.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be quieted.
Mm-hmm.
Don't shush me.
Yeah.
Just and this is, I think that this is where we all need to get to. And we need to learn how to ask our bodies questions too.
I
That
mean,
was,
and that's what we've been talking about for
yeah,
240 something days is to be able to expound upon what we know, like get go richer, go deeper. And I think that that's why it takes so long, is because you can read a sentence. Case in point, when
yeah,
I got off yesterday, I went and researched bequest
uh-huh.
because I wanted a deeper, richer experience for that word.
Hmm.
And that it would be considered a legacy.
Hmm.
A
Hmm.
legacy is what is known as inherited
Yeah,
family trauma.
yeah,
Like that is that's a legacy.
right. So and one of the things, and when I think about the word bequest, it is almost like passing down a wonderful gift, right?
Yeah.
Passing on
Well,
something
yes.
wonderful and precious. So
It's
like
a part of the legal terminology in a will.
is uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah.
The
So,
question is,
mhm.
so it's like an heirloom. However, sometimes those bequests can be something that we construe, or that because of how we receive things, it can be construed as something negative.
Mhm.
So, like for example, remember how we talked about so many people who lived through the Great Depression would always be worried about being hungry. And so they always kept extra food. They had more than enough. It was how they compensated for that feeling of insecurity.
Mhm.
Well, like, say, for instance, that was how those people did, but then the next generation made it, took that and gone like to the left with it, and those turned into the hoarders that we see, the hoarders that don't have enough room in their house to move around or to walk through, is literally stepping on stuff and over stuff in order to just make it through their homes. And so, unchecked, or if you don't bring it into your awareness and look at it, sometimes we got to pick up
Which is what we've been talking about.
yeah,
Stay in the
sometimes
wait.
pick up stuff and look at it and ask ourselves some questions about, where did this come from? And does it
Yes.
serve me now?
Yes. Yes.
So even, and I do that with everything, right? And I keep coming back to, for some reason, that book Pussy is in my mind today. One of the things that book taught me was to be able to listen to my body and ask the question, hey, do we like this? You
Mhm.
know, do we like this? Because it also, my body has a mind, my body has an energy to it. One of the things that they talk about tapping, sometimes if we need to
EFT.
release energy, yeah, we tap. Other people talk about, if you have like some type of vitamin or something like that, put it in your hand and practice, see, and push it down. And if you have weakness in that hand, your body is telling you, yeah, we don't want this, right?
Mhm.
But if your hand is strong, it's saying, yeah, I think this might be okay, right? But there's an intelligence to it that we have taught ourselves not to listen to. And so sometimes we cut ourselves off from the very thing that we need to be moving towards, or we take stuff that's not good for us because the doctor said so. Yeah. So, yes. Anyway, so
Back
this is
around.
still here,
Okay.
but I'm like in the matrix. I push that to the side, right? And we are doing It Didn't Happen with You. It didn't start with you. So so much of this book, it says, focuses on inherited family patterns, fears, feelings, behaviors we've unknowingly adopted to keep the cycle of suffering alive from generation to generation. Now, Stephanie, do you have any great examples, so I don't have to be all personal with mine?
Say that again.
I said, do you have any good examples of a inherited family?
Generation to, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You want me to tell my business? So, one of inherited family patterns is risk taking for me and my family. There's not a lot of risk takers. Everybody plays it safe, stays on their jobs for a long time. I've always been the first to go away to college, the first to like, it's like, okay, I'll leave. When I got pregnant, and my mother was like, "You think you're too good to drive a bus?" No, but I don't think that.
Yeah, the bus driving is not for you. I get that. I get that. So it's interesting though how often we don't necessarily choose what it is that we want to choose because we opt out. We kind of say to ourselves, like, I don't know. Do you say if it was good enough for my parents, it's good enough for me? I don't know that we do that. I don't know that I do that. I look at it like, ooh, that's not gonna make me happy. I gotta live with me. And so if I have to live with me, then that means let me do what it takes. Girl, are you frozen in voice and in screen, or are you just frozen on screen? Okay, so she popped out, and then she'll pop right back in. But anyway, so sometimes what we do, like my dad used to be one of those people who was always talking about getting a good job or getting a good government job so you could retire from it, so you have some benefits, or you have this or you have that. And for some people that may be exactly where their comfort zone is, but it was never where mine was. And so there was always a lot of contention between my father and I. Basically, it was my dad more so than anybody else. But because I was like sitting there saying to myself, like, this is not going to be my existence. This is not going to be how I'm going out. And so, even though, some could say that that was the easier route, to me, it felt like putting like weight on my back and then trying to carry that weight. And I was not, I mean, I wanted myself to be alive. I wanted to be, I wanted to be zesty. I wanted a zesty life, a juicy life. And for me, that wasn't zesty or juicy. But yeah, the struggle is real. You popped out.
You froze and then it went off. So maybe my internet went down. Yeah. While I was talking and it froze, and then next thing I know it was completely, my screen was white. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I thought you had restarted, but it
Uh-uh,
was on me. Okay.
no, you froze on my end, and so
Oh, did I?
started
Okay.
talking, yeah, and then the next thing I know, you popped out, and then now you're back.
I'm
Ta-da!
back.
Ta-da! Lovely, Stephanie. So, yeah, that was, and so I think that that sense of security, whether, and even this idea of social security was something that was always pushed. And so the idea of entrepreneurship or going out and doing something different wasn't what we learned. We learned how to be safe,
Yeah.
how to really focus in on, we were taught to focus in on following the rules and doing what it is that, yes, that keeps us in line. And if that felt heavy to me, that weight, that the very thought of it weighs me down.
So I'm a firstborn. So tendencies is to be perfect because they want to create the smiles and the attaboys from the caregivers. So it didn't feel heavy for me. It just felt like I needed to be able to check off the boxes so that I could get the affirmation that I needed. But the reality is that I was a soul, a spirit that came here with an intention by the divine, and that was not nurtured. So then this is where you kind of what we talked about in the other book, and probably will go into this book too, is that the inner child in me, the soul that came here for an assignment, has to be nurtured and brought to fruition. But because I was the firstborn, I looked around and I knew that safety was the name of the game in our family. That's the theme: to be safe, to be stable. You build your house from the ground, and then you store all your nuts in that, and you keep it safe, and you look out, you just don't step outside of that place. You don't go and buy foreign cars. You don't go and, all the other stuff that I did in my life. When I decided to jump out of a plane, I couldn't tell anybody. No one knew until I did it. And
Mm,
then I called and said I did it. You don't move across the country in the middle of the country. You don't do those things
yeah.
in my family. And so being a risk taker, and it's in me. That's why that book, Women That Runs with Wolves, like that book inspired the part of me I was that I kept to myself. And you call it a good girl, but I don't know. I just call it, I don't know what to call it, but I don't know. And I don't know if it's being a good girl or if it's just following the program. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a tendency to desire, yeah, to every time that good girl kind of energy comes up for me, I want to beat her back. I want
Hmm.
her back because it just, um, yeah, just like according, like you would say, according to who, right? I need to break out of, I need to bust out of that. And I'm just, the only thing that really gets me is that I didn't get it. Well,
Oh my God.
I'm
No, I'm
gonna say I
with
didn't get it
you.
earlier, but
Yes, I'm with you all the way.
but
Yes.
what I do know too though is that at, like, say for instance, if we were to talk to young people about this, there is this thing where I don't know if it's like now that we can't do as much damage as we could have, now we get it. Um, or if life weighs us down, say for instance, if somebody wanted to start breaking all the
You're
rules,
free. Yes.
and they did that early, there is motherhood for women, right? Because
Oh, but we could do it different.
yeah, the juiciness and wonderfulness of sex is amazing. And so sometimes what happens is in our desire to run free, we get weighed down, or
Yeah.
we don't know how to put the babies on our backs and keep running.
Mm.
So we end up being den mothers. I will say it that way.
Mhm.
If we're going with the wolf analogy, we end up
Mhm.
being the den moms as opposed to the
Or
running.
you're struggling with both. You're always, and Michelle and I always have this conversation. We're struggling with both. Trying to be this entrepreneur woman or run our businesses, and we homeschooled our kids so we could stay put, because that required us to use creativity and be ingenuity, and create things and be executives over our own homes, like, because we couldn't, what, it wasn't bombs for me sitting still. And then I helped my husband run his business, but I had to be doing something. I loved having my kids. I feel like I'm the best mother in the world. My kids may say something different, but I loved being a mother. But I also struggle with being a mother and running a business or spearheading Journey Home Ministries. And that was torment on the inside for me, because where I was working 13, 14 hours creating programs and curriculums, I had kids at home
Mm,
that, I cooked dinner, but cooked dinner, we ate. Okay, guys, I'm about to go back down to JHM. That was like, there was a struggle. And if I could give any young woman just to say, just go be happy in it, I think they would have been so much richer, more rich. I think that's the way to say that.
okay.
If if you could just be happy in the flow of our lives. But we have messages, programming that says you shouldn't be doing that. Well, I'll speak for my family.
Uh-huh.
My mom's statement was, your children are your ministry.
I mean, we all make choices, right? And I think that, I especially from reading material such as this, I recognize how awesome and big the responsibility of being a parent is. Just, through what we can either mess the heck up, really get right, right?
Or
Uh,
if there's a thing. Mhm.
well, yeah, you know, and so when we think about it, is it the safety, playing it safe, that is what children need, or is it the encouragement to run free? I just read a article yesterday
I think they
that
should be encouraged to run free.
I read an article yesterday about a girl named Cheyenne Sellers, right? Who is Kim Sellers' daughter. And if you guys know who Kim Sellers is, she used to be a radio personality here. She DJ'd on WJMO, not WJMO, WZAK forever. And she was married to Brad Sellers. Brad Sellers um, was a professional basketball player, I'm sorry. And he's now mayor of Warrensville Heights. Anyway, Brad Sellers, a huge guy. He had, I think it's 4 daughters. Anyway, Cheyenne, who is the youngest daughter, is now in college. And I mean, they were just talking about her abilities and just how she is showing up on the court. And one of the things that it said is that she learned from her mother, and her mother, I don't know if I said this before or not, but Kim Sellers has MS. And so a lot of times I would see her come into the radio station at night and to do her show, and somebody would literally pick her up and carry her into the station, sit her in the seat. And when she got ready to go, they pick her up and carry her, put her back into the car. And somebody was always picking her up and carrying her someplace, because she was just not one who was going to sit at home because she couldn't walk. I mean, if she got to have somebody that's going to carry her from wherever she needs to go, or when she gets there, if she got to have a special chair or whatever, she didn't allow her condition to stop her. And so Cheyenne talked about how she learned how to be fearless and push through any adversity through watching her mother. And so the message, when we keep moving forward and not talk about the rules, not get caught up in the stuff that happens, if we just learn how to push forward and allow things to happen or to unfold as they are going to unfold, maybe that is one of the best lessons and blessings that we can give our young people. So I think that it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. So I don't know if you saw that, Ruth. I put up the book. It didn't start with you. It didn't start with you. And his name is Mark Wolynn, Wollynn, Mark Wolynn. So 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 when we get here, it says it says that many of the patterns don't belong to us. Many of these family patterns that we fall into, they've barely been borrowed from or bequested by our family to us. And why is this? And he says, I strongly believe that it's because the story that needs to be told can finally be brought to light. And so he's going to share his own story. So if say for instance, there has been some trauma that has befallen a family member, or whatever, there are still things. You came here, I came here to do something in particular,
Yeah,
right?
we talked about that yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
all of us came here with a gifting to give. And that gift has to be shared. That gift has to, you know,
And
it's our responsibility.
in lieu of in way of the trauma, I talked about it yesterday, is that there's a healing that needs to be done. So 4 or 5 generations, if so I have a generational pattern, to be transparent, of women who have always been in a connection. They always have to be in a connection with somebody. They always a boyfriend or a husband or whatever. Whether it's a happy connection or not, who knows? I don't know. But prior to my marriages, I always just been with me, just by myself. I've never had, guy friends to come over, introduced to my family. I just always have been a loner, even at 16, 17, 18. Um, so when we have family events, never see pictures with me and a boyfriend or a guy unless they're with my husbands. Um, but I know that that's a pattern, and it's a pattern from my family way, way back. And that's that pattern of enduring in connections that don't need to be endured into, but and for the sake of having a partner, women in my family have been stayed in connections. It's almost taboo not to be with somebody. Like, I'm sure the senses around me is, poor Stephanie, she don't have a husband. It's 2000, since 2014, blah, 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 blah. I know that that's the energy in my family. But maybe I came to heal that energy. Maybe I came to because I've been fighting this all my life, if you want to say fighting it. I've been standing in this space my whole life. Now I've come to accept that this is the place this is, maybe I came to heal that. I can hear that from my grandmother. I can hear that from my great grandmother today, that stand tall in this space, as opposed to resisting what you were talking about yesterday about, I'm just going to resist. I don't have to resist in it now. I want to just stand in it and see what happens, because it's a different energy in that push, as opposed to pushing back, because that's how I've been feeling, like
Yeah,
this.
and I think that that's the word that I use, push back instead of,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And but now just kind of in it it feels different on me. It feels like I'm kind of like on the outside of it. And so I feel like we've come to heal generational trauma. I feel like, and it's not one thing, but it could be one thing that you're assigned to. But if we could just become aware that I'm here to heal something, I'm here to heal some repetitive behaviors that have happened in my family of origin or lineage over and over again, paying attention to what's happening, what people have, we talked about the word that I don't like, the cheating word, but that's a trauma. Like, that's a generational pass down from generation to generation. There's somebody in a family that's here to heal that. There's someone that's here to heal that belief system.
So when you say that, like, do you feel as if, and this is just because I've never been married. That's not that's not me. Erica's up here talking about play the field. Um,
I don't know. You got to teach me, Erica.
well, but I think you have I think that you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to have a moral barometer that won't let you play the field because you have a value on um
One, yeah, I do.
yeah. So yeah, that's not been my experience. So what I'm what I the question now, Now don't get me wrong, because I love that. I love that how we could play off of this, right? Because you have been married for longer than you have not been married, right?
Yes. Mhm.
You have that, and I am the exact opposite, and I feel juicy as hell around it, right? It's not as if I feel like I've been diminished in any kind of way. However, I do know that there is that those people out there that have judgments around it. But when I say that I push back on judgments, like you can have your judgments if you want to, they will not become mine, right? They will not change how I see myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm saying, that pushback thing, I'm saying, you know what? And you need to think again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I and so each of us have a different type of,
Well, yeah,
thing that
yeah.
we bring to a situation. And the moment I think that, so here's the interesting thing that I people used to say nobody can ride your back unless you bend over, right? And so there is a part of I think, a part of us that when we feel the conviction, it's almost as if we are bending over too,
Mm-hmm.
right? Almost as if we stand in agreement with it if we feel that in our souls. And so one of the wonderful things about that woman who runs with the wolves thing is it says you weren't meant to be written like that. You weren't meant to get your definition through somebody else, like by
Exactly.
proxy. Like you weren't meant to be Mrs. So and so and lose who you are. That's not how you were created. And so
Right.
for me, there is a pushback because I'm sitting up there saying, wait a minute, wait, one doggone minute, because I'm standing up on my own 2 feet. I'm standing with them firmly up under me. And I don't need what somebody else's opinion is not going to dictate how I see me, how I show up, how I feel about myself. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
So
yeah,
that is, and that is good. But the challenge is that a lot of people don't have that awareness that when you say don't look away, that's why I think that this is so good, because we started the conversation talking about utilizing it for another generation and how do we impact someone else. I listened to Alan Watts. He's dead and gone, but he affirms me, right? So I think that understanding that you have that inside of you, you came onto the planet with that, however you learned it or gathered it, but it's giving people permission to
mhm,
take that stance, giving people permission to step outside of their family of origins, trauma, bequest, stepping out. I think that that's what I gleaned even from these the anatomy of the spirit book, is that being able to help others to step outside of what they've been programmed to believe or understand. Because I'm telling you, for me, I believed my family of origin, I believed my caregivers, my intention, and it's definitely a firstborn trait, is to follow the rules. That was just what it was. And I know that I'm not on this planet alone like that.
right.
So
Well, I was, part of me is the reason why there are rules is because they keep people trapped. And so
I agree.
I was a rule breaker. I took pride in, let me break that rule. I mean, there was something great to me about it. And if you didn't want me to break it, you shouldn't tell me.
Hmm.
Right? That was the way I felt about it. And so the thing that you told me not to do just burned in me. It was like, oh, I gotta, right? And so I was doing things the way that it was just something in me that wouldn't let me color in the lines.
Oh,
Darn it.
yeah.
Why are you trying to get me to color a flower when I want to draw a tree? Right. And so I'm whatever that meant for me, I needed to kind of break those lines. So, so when I say that I wrestle with the angel, I can remember standing in my apartment, when I was in college, and this was because not saying that this is the first time, but I would stand there and say, God, if you didn't want me to have sex, then why did you create me to want sex?
Mhm.
If you thought that I shouldn't do this before I was married, then why is it that if you were real God, why is it that you didn't just make that whole uneven, like unseen,
But those are
don't
very good
feelings and
questions.
don't, I would sit there and I would go through these things. I felt like I was literally wrestling with the angel at every moment. And
I have a
so
son like that.
so so then I would hear the like you always say, I would hear God come at me like, well, who told you that you couldn't?
Exactly.
Like, it's yours,
Exactly.
it's on your body.
Exactly.
So why not?
Mhm.
Right? And so when when I receive stuff, unlike other people sometimes let minister so and so or this person or the Bible, whatever it is that they perceive themselves as reading, they let that override what it is that they get
Inform. Mhm.
on that inner level. And so that's why I was saying to Erica that when it comes to me, I'm going to give something pushback, because if that's not what I'm hearing within my own soul, which to me supersedes all of this other stuff. And sure enough, all of us need to learn how to discern when it's our own ego talking
That's it.
or when it's spirit talking.
Mhm.
And there's a
And
textual,
that's the work to do. Mhm.
there's a textural feel to that. So part of it is as we have these discussions, as we have these conversations, to ask the questions. I'm always saying that everything in this universe is alive. Everything in this universe communicates with you. So if you need verification, ask the question and keep asking the question, because what will happen is over and over again, it's not as if God is going to say to you, I answered that question yesterday, right? I ain't answering it no more. That's not what happens, right? If I didn't understand it, God, make it clear for me, make it clear for me. And so what happens is something else happens, or a song comes on the radio, or I
Every
see an
time.
animal, or there's a clearing, and I can, as I'm walking through the woods, the clearing is speaking to me, and it's saying just like that. You may walk through a path that seems crooked, it may seem something else, but here is this clearing, and that clearing has something to inform me or say to me, right? It is you actually being in a space where you can listen and allow the universe to speak to you. Oh, I love it when it happens. A book will fall off the shelf. You'll hear something on the radio, somebody's conversation that you have no business eavesdropping on, but it'll provide the confirmation that you needed. Over and
Mhm.
over again, you will have things that will reiterate for you. Now, I'm not talking about this, sometimes people will ask questions like, well, should I buy this car or should not? That's not what I'm talking about, right?
Why not?
Well, because sometimes it is the thing, the idea that you can't make a wrong choice,
Yes.
right? Buy the car or not buy the car. It's like, if you buy the car, you know, there is stuff that you got to deal with if you buy the car. If you don't buy the car, there's stuff that you have to deal with if you don't buy the car. It's as if you're the choice is really, am I taking the long road, or am I taking the scenic road, or
Mm.
the short road, or it's just a matter of which road you're taking. And one is not any better than others. but when it comes down to a question of, a different question, like when that guy proposed to me and I said yes, it was automatically my head, I got these migraines. I was like going through this thing, and I knew that spirit was speaking to me. And so when I said, you know what, I can't do this, it just lifted up. It lifted up off of me just like that. Because I knew that it wasn't for me. But a car that,
Well, but to some, it's 8:35, so I'm not gonna go into that. But I mean, something as simple. We talked about the last chapter of that book we were in. It's the little things that people have to start to practice in, though. Being able to hear that voice in the things that are significant to them. Like buying a car may be a place of significance for someone. It may even be a type of vehicle that they may desire, but don't feel a worthiness of that. Um,
but
you
it's
know,
not the car.
it's not the car, but people don't understand that in going into it.
It's the choice between the red pill or the blue pill.
Mm-hmm.
The blue pill, you'll wake up in your bed and it'll be the same shit a different day. The
Mm-hmm.
red pill, you go down the rabbit hole and see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Okay.
It's not the car.
I understand that.
Yeah, it's which one you're choosing. How long did it take you to say it wasn't going to work? To say what wasn't going to work? That me getting married? Is that
Who
what
asked
you're
the
asking?
question?
Erica.
Oh.
How long did it take me? People do understand choices. That's what Greg said. People do understand choices. So it is, it's the idea of what that choice represents that is the real thing, not the choice itself. Is the red pill or the blue pill. Erica said she didn't understand the matrix, and I didn't know if she was talking about the first matrix or the fourth matrix, because I didn't get the fourth matrix either. I fell asleep on it actually, and I'll have to go back and rewatch that. Erica,
Well, I don't understand people do understand choices. What did I missed that?
Greg said that.
I know.
Yeah. So let's see if he'll type in what he means by that. Erica, I don't know how long that proposal lasted. I don't think it was more than a couple months. But it was thank you, Alexa.
You said a key word. That's
What?
funny. I don't know. She spoke. That's why I said she spoke. You must have said something.
Reminded me to take the trash out.
Oh.
Tell her to remind me at 8:35 to take the trash out. So I gotta take the trash out. Yes,
Oh, I love it.
Take the pill, then you will find out. That's what Greg said. Take the pill and then you'll find out. But some people will opt to go back to sleep, right?
Oh yeah, we talk about that all the time, right? Yeah, don't look away.
Yeah,
don't look
go
away.
back to sleep. And that's what the blue pill represents. And when you're at choice, I always say what is before you is for you, right? That's my favorite thing. If it's before me, it's for me. My question is why is this showing up? What is it here that I need, or what is it that I need to learn? Is this car, am I having a midlife crisis? Is that why I need a car? Or is it a practical reason for needing the car, right?
Okay.
What does the car represent to me? And sometimes we got to get clear about that. If
no, all the time we do.
Right. I mean, but a lot of times we
don't. We haven't been programmed. I'm going to use that language, especially because of this book that we're in. It's very important to. We haven't been programmed to pause and ask the deep questions. We have been programmed with. I see our programming as cafeteria style. I grab the cart, I grab the tray, grab the silverware, I go to the next line, I put the milk on the tray, mashed potatoes, please, green beans, please. And so we don't think about it. We just go along on the assembly line. And I think the beauty of deprogramming is just being aware that this could be a programming movement right now. This could be a program feeling right now. This what I'm experiencing. For me, if I'm feeling nervousness on my insides, it's because I am probably going against programming. I'm taking a risk. I'm taking I recognize that now. And so when stuff comes before me and I have that feeling inside, it's like, oh, I'm taking a risk. I love the language that you use with, what is before me, which is good because it showed up because obviously I've drawn it to myself. That's spectacular. So understanding that, but that risk feeling, I know what that is. And I know what it is to turn away from it and say, well, that didn't feel good, so I must not supposed to be doing it, when it's quite the opposite if I'm moving away from my programming. It's very opposite for me.
Mm. I had a lot of stuff come up, but that would be going further down the rabbit hole. Yeah, because I had a lot of stuff that came up that I wanted to speak to. Because what some people, and this could be part of, I don't know that this is part of my programming as much as it is a part of just who I am, is that what some people think is safe, I think is confining.
That's good.
And so the question becomes, how do, how it, so does that mean that I'm always standing in a space of resistance?
I don't know about that. That feels judgy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, you know what? I had, remember about a month ago, I had a lunch with one of my ex-boyfriends, and I think he really wanted to marry me, and he just kind of laughed, like, when I told him that I broke it off with that guy. He was like, "That's what you do, saying." He was just kind of like, "That's what you do," and I was thinking, like, no, it's not that I just do it. It is, it's not that. It's like, if I know it's not right, it's not right. It's not. I'm not trying to fit into a hole that I'm not supposed to be into. I'm not trying to go down there because I already know that down there is not for me. In the Matrix, Erica, there's this thing where Neo is about to get out of the car. This is in the first Matrix. And Neo is about to get out of the car, and she says, look down that road. You know exactly where it ends, right? And he didn't want to go down there. And if I already know that road, if I already know what I'm getting into, because that's the programming that we have, why go down there? Why? I don't need to go. I don't need to do that in order for me to say that that road is not for me. I already know.
Mm-hmm.
You just be like, yeah, nah, not that. Right? Nah, nah. I know not that. We know not that. Right?
Yeah. So Erica, I'm not qualified to play the field.
Qualified to play the field.
Well, did you say I wasn't? What did you say, Sandra, about me and
I
playing the
was
field?
repeating that. I was repeating.
No,
You're not that. You're not that one. Yeah.
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, your moral compass won't let you do that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have a compass that I broke that bitch. Yeah, excuse me. I know that I'm a minister and all, but I'm gonna tell you, I broke that damn thing. All right.
That's a good subject.
It wasn't taking me where I needed to go. And and yeah, it sometimes Oh, all the time. I think that we need to go. I think that sometimes we don't allow life to teach us. And so part of that means that, if you've got shackles on you, it's breaking the shackles so that we can understand better what our roles are here. Oh, yeah. It's using your intuition, use your knower. That's a Sandra thing. Yeah, yesterday at the and then we got to go. Yesterday at the thing, my brother was in his little speech that he was giving. He was talking about, he introduced all of us as siblings, and he said, a good thing I know a little bit about football. He says, and my sister Sandra, he was like, she is the person that he says, if you third and long, he says she's the one that you want to make sure you got, or that you call on or something like that. And I thought to myself, oh, okay, I get that analogy. But it was a time when, especially when I was younger, and that little boy told me I had football legs, that I sent me on a 2 or 3 year journey into like being depressed, like, oh my God, I got football legs. It was such a terrible thing. But now I know what third and long is.
Well, I don't.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, third and long is about yeah, it's like you about to have to give up the
The
football. And
football.
yeah, and it's about to be, because if you third and long, that's like a major play, because if you don't
Major
get a
throw
first
and a
down
run.
or a football
Okay.
or a touchdown, then you got to give up the ball. And so I guess I'm a third and long player. So it was a
It
good
is a good thing. I mean, I do know
good
that.
analogy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But there was a time when I would have been like, what? Huh? What does that mean? Huh? Yeah, yeah. So
All
anyway,
right.
all right, y'all. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Stephanie.
You are
Yay.
welcome. I have no idea where this went, but it was necessary.
What do you mean?
The conversation, because I was all, I had my mind already for the next chapter, and I,
Oh,
I mean, yeah, paragraph, not chapter.
this is
Paragraph. You
me.
know me.
Be here. Be here, be now. It's all
It's
good.
all good. No, it was good. It was
Yeah,
really good.
the next one is we get into his story. So we'll talk about his particular story tomorrow and what led him down this rabbit hole. And I think that
That was a
that'll,
perfect setup.
yeah, help you to see a little bit better how things work, how
Yeah.
the things that happen in our life.
What'd she say?
Erica,
Come on, Erica. What'd she say?
call me sidetrack saying.
You are not alone. I'm with you, girl. But it's all good. It always ends up juicy, so that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and we just, I don't know. Do y'all have a time schedule? I mean, we just
Well,
showing
we
up.
do have the 1 hour, but
We yes,
we got 365 days for
yes.
2022.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And you know what? I started the Course in Miracles workbook at the beginning of the year. And today is my
What is
thoughts don't mean anything. These
anything?
thoughts don't mean anything, right? So all this stuff, yeah.
So it is. Okay.
So it is. All right.
All
So
right, you all have an amazing, terrific Tuesday.
you too. Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. Deep bow to
Bye.
everyone.
Yes, thank you, Stephanie.
Bye.
Bye. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm telling you, this is gonna be so good and so juicy. And I got issues that I'm working through too, like, family of origin issues, and even these ideas about, morality, sexuality, who we are, our relationships to money, what our thoughts are about marriage and family and purpose and our parents, and all of that stuff comes out in this, even taking us all the way back to it, our days of enslavement. All of those things are still informing who we are and how we show up. And so as we take a deep dive into this, I'm so glad that y'all are here. And I'm hoping that this causes you to do some honest work and have some honest conversation and open up to your own intuitive knowing of who you are and what you're supposed to do. So with that, I'm out of here. I might have to be back on here in a little bit because I do have to do my, I do get to do my radio show. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm recording, what time I'm recording, but I'll probably be back on later. So Erica, Greg, Sarika, Ruth, everybody, thank you so much for being here. And give some thought to your family patterns that you want to work out, work through, and solve. And you may not know that they're patterns, right? It could be hoarding. It could be feelings of inadequacy that cause you to always want to get more or achieve more, or, whether it's degrees or clothes or whatever. Sometimes it's our feelings of not enoughness, and we got to ask ourselves where that came from too, that we are investigating here through all of this. Oh, this is good. It's good. It's good. All right. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Love you. And yes, have an amazing or terrific Tuesday. All right. See ya.